So we just finished a little sesshin. Sesshin is intensive Zen practice, which means a lot of meditation or zazen. We just finished that, and I'm continuing to kind of talk on the basics, is what I've been calling this. I talked about the three tenets, which is the root of the peacemaker, Zen peacemaker order. And then I talked about Dogen Zenji, to forget the self, the little part of Genjo Koan about forget the self, which is really the core of Dogen Zenji's teaching, maybe. At least it was Seisen Roshi's favorite quote. He quoted it a lot. And then today I thought, also continuing with our discussion about power, Zen and power. Because of things that are going on right now in the larger Sangha, Genpo Merzel he's admitted to having sex with a few of his students, and of course that puts the magnifying glass on that Sangha, on the Kanzeon Sangha, and things are coming up. He's being accused of power abuses in other ways than sexually. And then Jitsudo and Cheta left the White Plama Sangha because of sex and anger. And again, power abuses. Somehow these teachers harming students. Teachers harming students. So, in alignment with that, I wanted to talk about teacher-student relationship some more. I used the Rinzai quotes on teacher-student, which I love, and I didn't bring that with me. But one of the things that Rinzai is very clear about is the teacher-student relationship is not about the student does whatever the teacher says. That is incorrect in all ways. I always say the teacher's like a coach, or like a piano teacher. Oftentimes a piano teacher has less skill than the person they're teaching. I mean, like, the great pianists all have teachers, and those teachers aren't great pianists, they're the teachers. So your teacher is like a coach. A spiritual teacher, spiritual mentor is like a coach. As you find your spiritual path. And if it's Zen, if that's what you decide, your spiritual path is Zen, then the teacher-student relationship is very important to our Zen practice. So I picked this koan. It's another thing I kind of want to start talking about is koan practice and how koan practice works. But koan practice is very basic to Zen practice, and maybe particularly for me, I really like koan practice. Interestingly enough, this koan's about an egg, which when I picked it, I didn't think about it being Easter. There you go. A monk asked Kiyosei, "I am breaking out. I asked the teacher to break in." Kiyosei said, "But will you be alive?" The monk said, "If I weren't alive, I'd be laughed at." Kiyosei said, "You too are a man in the So the koans, many of the koans are like that. When you first read it, it's kind of like, what are they talking about? Very difficult to understand. And of course, we bump into cultural differences, because this is a long time ago in China and how people talked in China. But it's not something to grasp intellectually. And you can. You can do a lot of koan study intellectually if you're real smart. And if now with Google, just Google it. But the koans are more like transformational tools. Transformation of what? Transformation from delusion to enlightenment. And these are little tools that can help, little gateways that can help. So working with a koan, trying to figure it out, is very frustrating. When we work with koans, we be the koan, be the story, and imagine this situation. This breaking in, breaking out, that's about the egg. And it's, I guess, a metaphor for practice, that the student is like a chicken and an egg before waking up, waiting to be hatched. The teacher is like the hen. And I guess, I've never watched a chicken being born, but I guess at some point the chicken starts pecking on the shell, and mom hears that and starts pecking on the shell too. So the pecking goes both ways. And if the hen's too quick, chicken isn't ready. And if the hen's too slow, the chicken can die in the egg. So it has to be just right. And I gave a talk on this koan a long time ago. Had kind of a insight myself, because I had always thought of that egg as our stuff. More specifically, the student stuff. Our patterns, our ideas and concepts that we're holding on. Why haven't we woken up? Because of our ideas and concepts. That's what Buddha said when Buddha woke up. He said, why don't people see it? Because of upside down thinking due to ideas and concepts. So our whole view of the world is upside down because we think we're separate from everything. And we make ourselves separate from everything and basically see everything through what I call me, which is this shell. Ideas, concepts, spinning everything, trying to figure out, trying to manipulate, trying to get what I want. So our practice is to let go of that shell, which is the self in terms of Dogen Zenji said, to study the Buddha ways, to study the self. Well, that's the pecking part. We start to poke away at some of those ideas and concepts, and we start to develop the practice of inquiry, which the Byron Katie work is a good example of that. Here's an idea. I can't get enlightened until my family's grown. I can't get enlightened until I find true love. Whatever our ideas are about waking up, the Byron Katie work is then, is that true? I need to be smarter. I need to be prettier, taller, cooler. Well, I can't wake up as long as I'm sick like this. So the Byron Katie is that true? And then, is it really true? Really investigate that idea. And then what if I turn that around? What if I turned it around? Everyone can get enlightened right now. Everyone can get enlightened right now. Which is the fact. The chicken and the hen kind of talks to this development of the student that student needs to grow in some way before really waking up. And the metaphor's off in that sense, because in fact, each of us is this right now. And we could see it right now, because it's what we are. But what stands in our way? Ideas and concepts. So that's the shell. And the patterns, all the stuff which Buddha called greed, anger, ignorance. All the things I wish I had, all the things I hate, all the ways I block out, ignore the fact. So that's the shell. And the packing is investigate that. And as I talked about yesterday, emotions be the feelings. Let go of the story. Let go of mom and dad and spouses and everything. Let go of the story. And that letting go of the story, that's part of that chicken growing up. It may take a while. And it may very likely involve therapy and other tools. There's so many tools to wake up, and koans are some of them. Therapy is a good tool. But at some point, drop off the patterns. And I can never get awakened because of my dysfunctional family. Well, then nobody would probably wake up. Drop all of that. And then teacher is helping. Teacher is pecking too. And it is the teacher's job to poke at your ideas and concepts. But of course, it has to be skillful. That's the point of that metaphor. Too soon, too big, harmful for the student. So that's where the power differential. There is a power differential in teacher-student. To say, oh, let's just try to do this now with no power differential, then it's not teacher-student. And like I said when I was talking about it before, it's like letting Zoe decide everything she's going to do. Zoe, the 3-year-old, not really a good idea. She needs mom and dad and all of us to tell her, don't run out in the street. And all the things we learn. So there is a power differential. And the power differential is on the relative standpoint. So this chicken and hen analogy is on the relative standpoint. From the relative standpoint, there's a difference. Zen teacher has trained a long time and has learned a lot of pitfalls and things like that. Student is new. So there is a difference. And the way that works is with a power differential. So we're not talking about get rid of the power differential. We're talking about abusing that power differential. And many ways to do that. An obvious one is to choose sexual partners from students who are vulnerable, extremely vulnerable to the teacher. So it's very wrong. But it's not just about sex. You might, a teacher can misuse that relationship in many ways. Money, time, socializing, to make teacher feel good. There's so many ways that can be abused.